Welcome to Mind Clarity, where we explore the power of faith, intention, and the mindset that transforms dreams into reality. Today, we will uncover how aligning your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs with abundance can open the door to success and limitless possibilities. If you believe in growing your inner power and creating a life filled with purpose and prosperity, become a valued member of our Pray Manifest community and join us on this journey of manifestation and transformation. The way you experience success and invite abundance into your life begins with a simple but powerful shift, changing the way you see yourself, your circumstances, and the world around you. One principle that has transformed the way I approach life is this: when you change your perspective, the reality you experience begins to change as well. The things you focus on, the meanings you attach to them, and the energy you bring toward them all shape the way abundance appears in your life. Your ability to feel successful and experience prosperity is deeply connected to the image you hold of yourself, your relationship with the universe, and most importantly, the mindset you carry within the creative field of intention. Before abundance can become visible in your external world, it must first become real within your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. Take a moment to observe the way you look at life. Your perspective is often a reflection of your expectations. Those expectations are usually created through years of influence from your family, your environment, society, and the experiences you have collected along the way. But there is another powerful influence that often shapes these expectations: your ego. The ego often teaches us to focus on limitations. It reminds us of what is missing, what could go wrong, and why something may not be possible. It creates a mindset based on fear, comparison, and scarcity. When you look at life through that lens, you naturally begin expecting struggle instead of opportunity, limitation instead of possibility, and lack instead of abundance. But if your perception is built on scarcity, it becomes difficult to attract prosperity, because your inner world is constantly sending a message of not having enough. The first step toward abundance is to become aware of how you are viewing your life. Ask yourself, am I constantly searching for problems, or am I noticing possibilities? Am I focusing on what is missing, or am I appreciating what is already present? Can you begin seeing opportunity where you once saw obstacles? Can you recognize abundance in places where you previously noticed only limitation? Can you transform your experience simply by transforming your perspective? The answer is yes. The way you see your reality has the power to reshape your relationship with it. When you begin looking at life through the eyes of possibility, you start aligning yourself with a completely different energy. Now consider how the universal source of creation views existence. This creative intelligence behind all things operates from a place of unlimited giving. It does not understand restriction, shortage, or the idea that there is not enough. Its natural state is expansion, creation, and infinite possibility. This source is constantly expressing itself through countless forms. It transforms invisible ideas into visible experiences and continuously provides without limitation. There is no concept of scarcity within this universal intelligence. It does not think in terms of not enough. It only knows creation, growth, and abundance. This brings us to an important understanding. When you approach the universe from a place of desperation, constantly saying, "I need more money, I need more success," or "I need something to change," you are unknowingly focusing on the feeling of absence. Your attention is placed on what you lack rather than what you already have. The message behind those thoughts is not abundance. The message is that you are still waiting, still searching, and still separated from what you desire. But the universal source responds to the energy you hold within. If your dominant feeling is lack, you continue experiencing circumstances that reflect that feeling. It is not because the universe is denying you, it is because your awareness is still centered on the state of needing. The shift happens when you begin to embody the feeling of already being connected to abundance. Instead of saying, I hope I receive prosperity someday, begin moving into the awareness of, I am open to receiving, I am supported, I have more than enough possibilities available to me. When you feel successful before the evidence appears, you create harmony between yourself and the reality you desire. You stop chasing abundance and begin becoming a person who naturally accepts and allows it. The source of creation does not recognize separation between you and your desires. It responds to the state you occupy. When you live with gratitude, confidence, and trust, you align yourself with the same energy that creates and expands everything in existence. Success is not only something you achieve outside yourself, it is also a state of being you cultivate within. The moment you change the way you look at life, life begins revealing new possibilities that were always there, but hidden behind old beliefs. Abundance is not something you have to force into existence. It is something you learn to recognize, accept, and allow. When your thoughts, feelings, and intentions come from a place of fulfillment rather than emptiness, you become aligned with the endless flow of prosperity that has always been available to you. You cannot truly align yourself with abundance while holding tightly to feelings of doubt, fear, or the opinions of those who believe limitations are unavoidable. The energy of creation does not operate from a place of shortage. It does not understand lack, desperation, or constant wanting. To connect with this infinite source, you must begin matching its qualities. You must move into a state of trust, openness, and most importantly, allowing. Allowing is one of the most overlooked parts of creating a successful and abundant life. Many people focus on wanting, chasing, and trying to force outcomes, but they forget that the universal source is already constantly providing. The creative intelligence behind everything never stops working. It does not pause, take breaks, or decide who deserves abundance and who does not. Its nature is continuous giving, expansion, and creation. Everything that exists comes from this invisible field of energy and intelligence. Every person, every opportunity, and every possibility is connected to this same source. So the question becomes, if abundance is constantly available, why do some people experience a natural flow of prosperity while others feel disconnected from it? The answer often lies in resistance. Allowing abundance into your life begins with recognizing the invisible barriers you have created within yourself. Throughout your life, you may have collected countless thoughts, beliefs, and experiences that silently tell you abundance is difficult to reach. These beliefs create resistance between you and the natural flow of prosperity that is always available. Many of these limitations were not created by you alone. You may have absorbed the fears and doubts of others. You may have listened to people who constantly focused on failure, economic problems, missed opportunities, or everything that could go wrong. You may have surrounded yourself with stories of struggle until those stories became part of your own belief system. Every time you repeatedly focus on reasons why success is impossible, you strengthen the mindset of resistance. Every time you allow fear-based messages to control your thoughts, you move further away from the energy of creation and closer to the feeling of limitation. But you do not have to fight against every old belief at once. You do not need to completely rebuild your entire mindset overnight. Instead, begin by becoming aware of the thoughts that create resistance and consciously choose a different direction. Start changing the thoughts you activate in your daily life. One thought at a time. Replace the habit of expecting struggle with the habit of expecting possibility. You can begin with simple reminders such as, I am open to success. I welcome abundance into my life. I recognize the prosperity that already surrounds me. Repeat these ideas until they become familiar. Let them become the inner conversations you return to throughout your day. Slowly, these thoughts begin transforming into beliefs, and those beliefs begin shaping the way you experience reality. When you identify yourself with success and abundance, you begin moving in harmony with the same creative force that brings everything into existence. The universal source responds naturally because there is no longer resistance blocking the flow. When you practice allowing and choose the path of least resistance, success stops feeling like something far away that you must constantly chase. It becomes something connected to who you are. Abundance stops appearing as something separate from you because you begin recognizing that you are already connected to it. There is another important principle when it comes to receiving abundance: learning the power of detachment. It is important to align yourself with prosperity and believe in your ability to receive, but it is equally important not to become trapped by attachment to what arrives. The moment you believe you must hold tightly to success, money, possessions, or achievements, you create fear around losing them. The part of you that wants to possess everything and define yourself by what you have is not your true essence. That is the voice of the ego. Your identity is not limited to your achievements, your bank account, your possessions, or your status. You are much greater than the temporary things you experience in this physical world. You are an infinite being experiencing life through a human journey. The things you receive are expressions of abundance, but they do not define your value. This is why detachment is so powerful. When you stop clinging to what you desire and allow it to flow naturally, you create space for even greater possibilities. Energy needs movement. When you try to control, possess, or restrict what comes into your life, you interrupt the natural flow. Abundance is meant to circulate. Receive it with gratitude, appreciate it fully, and allow it to move through your life. Trust that what is meant for you cannot disappear because the source of abundance is unlimited. Your emotions are one of the greatest tools for understanding your connection with this creative energy. Your feelings act like an internal guidance system, showing you whether you are moving toward alignment or resistance. When you experience emotions such as joy, gratitude, inspiration, trust, peace, and excitement, these feelings indicate that you are moving in harmony with abundance. They show that your thoughts and intentions are aligned with the creative source within and around you. Positive emotions reveal that you are allowing energy to move freely toward the experiences you desire. They are signs that you are connected to possibility rather than limitation. On the other hand, emotions like fear, anxiety, anger, shame, hopelessness, and frustration can reveal areas where resistance exists. These feelings are not enemies. They are simply messages showing you that your current thoughts may not be aligned with the abundance you seek. When you feel these emotions, use them as awareness. Ask yourself, what belief am I holding that is creating this feeling? What thought can I choose instead? Your emotions reveal the relationship between your inner world and the energy you are attracting. The more you cultivate feelings that reflect abundance, the stronger your connection becomes with the experiences you want to create. One of the most powerful ways to expand your experience of abundance is to stop limiting abundance only to money. Money is one expression of prosperity, but true abundance includes so much more. It includes meaningful relationships, health, peace, happiness, creativity, security, and a feeling of vitality within yourself. When you focus only on money, you may unknowingly create pressure and desperation. But when you expand your awareness and begin appreciating all forms of abundance already present in your life, you shift into a higher state of appreciation and openness. As you begin feeling abundant in your friendships, your health, your experiences, and your daily moments, you create a stronger connection with the energy of prosperity. Money becomes another expression of that abundance, rather than the only proof of it. The more your inner state reflects gratitude, confidence, and fulfillment, the more naturally opportunities, resources, and experiences begin moving toward you. Abundance flows more easily when you are no longer chasing it from a place of emptiness, but welcoming it from a place of already feeling complete. Your emotions are not random experiences. They are powerful signals showing you how connected you are to the energy of success and abundance. They reveal the direction of your thoughts and whether you are moving with or against the creative flow of life. Understanding your feelings allows you to become an active participant in creating your reality. This does not mean sitting back and expecting everything to magically appear without effort. It means shifting your inner state first so that your actions come from confidence, inspiration, and alignment rather than fear and desperation. When you declare, "I choose to feel successful and welcome prosperity into my life," something begins to change within you. Your emotional state shifts, your perspective expands, and you begin acting from the assumption that what you desire is already possible. Your decisions, behaviors, and interactions begin matching the energy of abundance. Instead of constantly trying to receive something you believe is missing, you begin expressing the qualities of the person who already feels fulfilled. You stop chasing success and start becoming a person who naturally attracts opportunities, ideas, and experiences that reflect that inner state. To bring this intention of success and abundance into your daily life, there are several practices you can begin applying. Start by choosing to see the world as a place that supports you. Many people walk through life believing that the world is against them, that opportunities are limited, and that success is difficult to achieve. But when you begin viewing life as a generous and supportive environment, you open yourself to receiving what was already available. Imagine that life is not working against you, but constantly guiding you toward growth, learning, and expansion. See yourself as someone who is supported rather than someone who must constantly struggle. The next step is to remind yourself that abundance is not something separate from you. Affirm within yourself, "I attract success and prosperity because abundance is part of who I am." This mindset creates a connection between your inner identity and the reality you want to experience. The goal is not to feel separated from success, as though it exists somewhere far away waiting to arrive. Instead, recognize that the source of abundance already exists within you. You are connected to the same creative energy that produces growth, opportunity, and transformation. The source can only reflect the energy you embody, so begin identifying yourself with the qualities you want to experience. Another important practice is remaining in a state of allowing. This means releasing the thoughts that create resistance, such as constant doubt, fear, or the belief that you are not worthy. Replace those thoughts with the understanding that you and the creative source of life are connected. See your desires moving toward you naturally. Avoid creating mental barriers that block your own progress. Do not allow temporary circumstances to convince you that abundance is impossible. Your present moment is where your power exists. Every moment gives you an opportunity to choose thoughts that support your highest intentions. Many people believe they cannot change because they have spent years thinking in certain patterns. They tell themselves they are too old, too far behind, or that they have spent too much time focusing on limitation. But your past does not control your present unless you continue giving it power. You can begin creating a new relationship with abundance right now. You do not need permission from your past experiences to think differently today. Choose thoughts that make you feel connected, hopeful, and inspired. The desire to feel good is connected to the desire to experience the divine nature within you. The creative source represents goodness, expansion, and life itself. Your thoughts matter, but your actions also play an important role. Begin taking actions that reflect the feeling of abundance you want to experience. Act from the mindset of already being connected to success. This does not mean pretending or ignoring reality. It means allowing your inner confidence to guide your behavior. Speak with enthusiasm. Approach conversations with positive energy. Handle opportunities with confidence. Walk into important moments, such as interviews or new experiences, with the belief that you are capable and supported. Pay attention to the ideas, conversations, and opportunities that appear in your life. Sometimes inspiration arrives through unexpected moments. A conversation, a book, or a new connection may become the doorway to something greater. Remember that your success does not take away from anyone else's ability to succeed. Abundance is not a limited resource where one person receiving more means another person receives less. The creative source is unlimited. The more you experience prosperity, the more you have available to contribute, support, and share with others. Your growth can become a source of inspiration and benefit for the people around you. Your emotions can also serve as a guidance system. When you experience feelings such as anger, fear, anxiety, resentment, or hopelessness, recognize them as signals. They are showing you that your current thoughts may not be aligned with the energy of abundance you desire. Your desires may be strong, but if your emotional state is filled with resistance, you create distance between yourself and what you want. In those moments, gently redirect your attention. Ask yourself what thought would help you return to peace, trust, and possibility. Choose a perspective that allows you to feel better and reconnect with the energy of creation. Another powerful practice is becoming generous with the abundance that flows into your life. Do not allow fear to make you hold tightly to everything you receive. When you share your time, kindness, knowledge, and resources, you keep the energy of abundance moving. Prosperity is not meant to be trapped, it is meant to flow. The more you release attachment and use what you receive in meaningful ways, the more connected you become to the generous nature of the universe. Make time to connect with the deeper source within yourself through meditation. Quiet moments allow you to move beyond external distractions and remember the creative power that exists inside you. Meditation helps strengthen your awareness of the presence that supports everything. Through practices such as repeating a meaningful spiritual phrase or focusing on a sacred sound, you train your mind to return to a place of peace and connection. Your consciousness is one of your greatest sources of power. When you understand that your inner state influences your outer experience, you begin using your awareness more intentionally. Finally, develop a genuine attitude of gratitude. Be thankful not only when your desires appear, but also while you are on the journey toward them. Gratitude strengthens your connection with abundance because it shifts your focus from what is missing to what is already present. Even challenging moments can contain lessons, growth, and opportunities for transformation. Everything that comes from the creative source has a purpose, even when you do not immediately understand it. The energy that creates life, expands possibilities, and moves throughout the universe is also within you. Everything carries energy, everything has a frequency, and your thoughts and emotions influence the frequency you live from. When you align yourself with trust, gratitude, and abundance, you begin experiencing life from a completely different state of awareness. You no longer see success as something distant that you must chase. You recognize it as something you are capable of embodying. You no longer view abundance as something reserved for others. You understand that you are connected to the same unlimited source that creates everything. Tune your thoughts, feelings, and actions toward this energy, and you will begin discovering a deeper connection with the prosperity and success that has always been available to you. Abundance is not something you have to chase. It is something you awaken within yourself by changing your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. When you choose gratitude over fear, trust over doubt, and alignment over resistance, you reconnect with the limitless source of creation that has always been within you. Success begins the moment you stop seeing yourself as someone waiting to receive and start recognizing yourself as someone capable of creating. The life you desire is not beyond your reach. It begins with the energy, faith, and vision you choose to embody today.